Oh,
Okay, ready to go.
yep.
Oh, hey, everyone. Welcome to All Things Walking Dead and Horror Roundtable discussion. Tonight we're without Joe again, but we didn't break it last week. We're hoping we don't break his show this week. We have Therese Burge-Irwin and Amanda Pitts and myself, Christine Clegg, and we will be discussing what has been a really exciting beginning to season 11. But before we get started, we will announce our winner discussion participation winner from last week, Amanda.
Cynthia Lango. Congratulations, Cynthia.
Congratulations. Yes.
Congratulations, Cynthia.
We welcome any comments that you might have during, and even if you don't get a chance to watch it now, you get it and look at it afterwards, and we'd love to hear from you and see what you think and some ideas for future shows. So this season 11, much anticipated last season, and the first two episodes were like a two-parter, part one, part two. Acheron, I think we worked out, Teresa, that was how we were pronouncing it. Acheron.
Yes.
Which was it was Greek for something to do with the underworld, Hades river.
Yes. Yeah, the river.
To do with the dead, so seems very fitting, I guess. And of course, our first scenes will begin with Daryl and Maggie, and they're leading a group to a military base to scavenge for whatever they can find, because of course back at Alexandria things are not great. They've brought extra groups in, extra people in, and they're running out of food. So as we're watching them and they're scavenging, putting different things in backpacks and that, and Daryl being lifted out, we see these walkers down there, but these walkers are like different to what we've seen before, and they're like I think the lurkers, who are basically long dormant. And this was something new to me because I didn't realize that walkers at all would sleep. So, but we're watching being let out up through the ceiling, and he cuts his arm, and then a drop of blood lands on a walker, and then it seemingly wakes it up. What do you like? I mean, that is so weird. What do you think? What do you think that means with Daryl's blood waking it up? What is the whole thing behind that, Teresa? What's it?
Well, I think okay, like when you drop a rock in the water,
Yeah,
you get that ripple effect.
yeah,
I think maybe it's just foreshadowing that everything that they're doing from this point on is going to have a great ripple effect.
across the
Does
whole
that make
thing.
sense?
Ending. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, no,
that does. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it was a weird beginning, but it is kind of fitting because, well, we've all come to expect things like that in The Walking Dead.
It was just like
And it was
one little drop of blood, and they all just came
Yes,
it
up.
was so vivid.
it was like
Yeah.
domino effect, and who knows what it's going to set off in future episodes.
Mhm.
So when we get back to Alexandria, and like they discover how dire the situation is there, and Maggie, um, who seems to be in control for whatever reason at the moment, and she suggests that they go back to a community in Meridian that she had been with before with her group. And they'd been attacked, obviously, by this other group, the Reapers. And so she suggests, look, we'll go there and we'll get supplies, because said there are plenty of supplies there. We can get everything from there sorted back to Alexandria, but of course what they have to do first is take out this other group. So do you think that Maggie perhaps only returned to her old group so that she could get them to help her take out the Reapers? Do you think
Oh,
that is
absolutely.
back? Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I think she didn't return for no other reason other than to come back for their help
Yeah.
to do this.
Because I mean, you think back, there would have been other opportunities for her to come back. Why didn't she come back when the Whisper of War was on, and she could have helped with that? Why didn't she come back at any other
Well,
time to see how they all were?
remember, in one of the episodes, somebody had asked her about had she been checking the letters, and Carol had said, no, it's been a long time since
Yeah.
she's been there to the log or whatever it was she said. So for her to go up at that time, at that log, there was a reason
Yeah.
why she chose to return to the log and then
That,
return back to. So yeah,
yes.
I really think that it she just used she just so happened to be able to use the whispers that was going on and to come in and help them for that. But thank God she did. That was not the only good thing that's came out of it.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, I think it just seems very too much coincidence that Maggie has suddenly come back for that reason. So
Yes.
when they take off and Maggie's leading a group, she's got Daryl, Gabe, and Negan is there, of course. You know, she's probably somewhat reluctant with him coming, but then at the same time, maybe she's not. Maybe she wants him to be there and is planning it. So they're going through DC. A storm sort of forces them underground. And Negan, of course, he knows the area more so than anyone else, and he warns of flooding if they're going into these subway tunnels. But they're like, no, it's too dangerous up there. Daryl's saying, you know, it's safer down here. When they get part way in, they discover these piles of bodies in plastic, which kind of look really freaky. Daryl kills one of them when it reanimates, but these walkers aren't making any noise because the ropes have been slit. Maggie's going, oh, they died in the fall, you know, they're fine walking throughout them, no problem, but Negan thinks otherwise. So why do you think Maggie would be so insistent that they had died in the fall? Or do you think she knows that they didn't, but is just wanting everyone to keep moving? What do you think?
I think she knows more than she's let on, that she's letting on. She knows more about what they're, because obviously she knows. I mean, was this not a community that she was part of to begin with? This Meridian.
Yes, yeah. So
So I think that she knows more about that situation, and that's why she was so adamant. I mean, it wasn't really her shit. She was adamant. It was like she answered it like with knowledge that she knew what she was
yeah,
talking about.
yeah, but without, I think, really letting on to the others that, hey, I know more about this, but perhaps
Hmm.
be so keen to help her if they knew what they were really getting into. This is how I sort of see it, and that
Yeah.
like keeping her cards close to her chest, keeping something under wraps, just so that, you know, she can use these people to help her get back at the
Uh-huh.
group. And of course, we have our ideas about, you know, whether what Maggie has actually done to, I mean, obviously this group is coming for her, basically. What has she done? So, I mean, that's something for another episode, another discussion. But yeah, very interesting. Maggie, I think, it's not being upfront. She's not being forthright with why she's actually there and getting them to come with her. So, of course, Negan is balking at the mission, and I think Gage and Roy at the same time take his side, and we sort of, you know, think, oh, here we go, this is all going to come to a head. But because the others do side with Maggie. Negan, I think, is right then thinking, oh, he'll bail and head back, but Maggie insists that they need Negan because he knows the DC area, and of course he's telling them no one else can read a goddamn map, he said. So he's, I think, wondering what's going on. So,
Well, that's what he said.
yeah, he did exactly what he said.
Yeah.
And he comes out with some classic lines. I love the stuff.
Oh yeah.
But he says Maggie has just brought him down there to kill him. So do you think this was Maggie's plan all along? She's just disguised it as a supply run to kill Negan once and for all. Do you think she thought of that or beforehand, or she's only just like thinking, oh, maybe this wouldn't be a bad time?
I think that she's hoping that maybe one of the Reapers, that he may get killed in the attack. I can't say for sure if she's brought in to kill him herself.
Yeah.
But I think that she hopes that he will be a casualty of war. Yeah.
Yes. So sort of like she maybe not, maybe even better if it's just like makes it look like an accident and
Right.
Mm-hmm.
look like she has any involvement at all. So yeah, I think so. I mean, I just don't think, you know, why would she want him really to come along? And you know, he's starting to see that it's dangerous to go, but hang on, maybe this is what Maggie's doing. So yeah, I think I don't know that she thought it through like that just before, you know, before they went, but I think it's sort of, you know, oh geez, it'd be good if that happened, and that'd be one less thing to worry about, a big thing less to worry about. So, but of course, then
Yeah, Mike Giordano. I never can say your name, Mike. I am so sorry, but he said that's a fact for sure.
yes, that yeah. Giordano.
Giordano.
What we're hearing is what we're hearing. Giordano. We will practice it next week.
Giordano.
There you
Jordan.
go.
Well done. Yeah, I think so too. I think it just seemed a bit too coincidental, and the further in and more dangerous it was looking, the more likely I think Negan's going, oh, hang on a minute, I know what's going on here. He sort of confronts her about it and saying, this is your plan all along, isn't it? You want me to be killed. And then he sort of looks at the others. And do you think any of Maggie's group, like her group, suspected, or any of the others suspected what she might have been planning? And did you ever see her actually going through with it right then and there, or do you think that she would have just called it off and gone, no way, I'm not
I
going
don't
to do
think
it?
she could go through with it because she couldn't go through with it the first time.
No,
Right.
because she's had
Yeah.
opportunities before to kill him.
Yeah. But now, as far as her people, I don't know about that. I'm not. I mean, I know they don't like him. I don't know. I'm saying I'm not sure if they're in on it or not, or because I'm not so sure if she's like made it a big plan, like, with them or not.
Yeah,
Um,
they seemed surprised, or they didn't seem to be in the know. And even Negan said to Daryl, "So what? You don't know either." And
yeah.
so yeah,
I
they
believe
definitely.
if any of them knew, it would have been Cole.
Yes, true, because he seemed to be the one that she was sort of confide in, and he was the most vocal against Negan, wasn't he? Because I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, she's fair. They know all the stories and everything. They would have heard nothing good about Negan, and
No, nothing.
So they would have been, perhaps not in on it, but absolutely, probably would have been okay with it if she'd done it. So, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I think,
well, we know that they've not heard that he saved Judith and that he killed Alpha for them. Oh, we know that they probably not heard. Well, they might now that they're there in the community, but beforehand, they didn't know anything about what he done.
no, and I mean, Carol was very, made sure that she told Maggie that we needed him. She had to kill Alpha. He had to kill Alpha, and so she would know that. But I think that hasn't really affected her opinion of him. And that
Honestly, I don't think anything is going to really change her mind. I don't think because she thinks he's it's just an act.
yes,
But when Carol told her that Negan killed Alpha, that they needed him, she followed up with, "But look what he did to Hilltop." She went straight to the bad.
Yes, exactly. So, in her mind, there's nothing good about Negan, and I don't know what it takes for her to realize that he has changed and things are different now since she's away. When she left, obviously everything was still the same, and Negan was still in jail and all of that, but a lot has changed, and Maggie hasn't really changed, and her mind is still way back at that, where she's just like, no, he did this, he has to pay. And
yeah, she thinks she's some kind of special or something, and that she should deserve justice.
Yes,
and
and I mean, way back when he was in the jail, and she was going to kill him. That was her full intention, but she could see that he was already in a bad place. But I guess she still wanted him to stay in jail. It wasn't like she's obviously not happy that he's out. But yeah, she doesn't know the full story. And the next bit, when he talks about that he's not going to let her go through with it, he won't let Maggie put him down like a dog, like Glenn was. I remember I actually went like this when he said that. I thought, oh, he didn't just go there.
Yeah.
Do you think
I was
he had
shocked.
it was just like, it was like, oh no, you are kidding me, no way. And do you think that Negan had any right to bring up anything about Glenn, to even say his name? Do you think he had any right?
I think he was admitting that Glenn was put down in a bad way.
Yeah, I thought that.
I don't think he was being necessarily like, like throwing it in her face. I think that he was admitting in that moment that Glenn was put down like a dog, and that was a bad thing. That he admitted to doing that.
Yeah,
that he did that.
Yeah, in some way that might have been. Yeah, initially I just thought, oh my gosh, why did he say that? And I think, looking at his face, and well, then of course Daryl punches him, but looking at him, I thought, oh, immediately I think he thought, geez, I shouldn't have said that,
But I know something a little interesting about Daryl punching him.
Yeah.
I read an interview that Daryl did with Entertainment Weekly, and the reason he punched him was to save his life.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was to save his life in that moment.
Yes, true. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, well.
because
Jeffrey
if he
Dean
hit
Morgan
him,
did not want to say that line at all either.
yeah,
No, I did. I read that somewhere too. He was sort of like with the producers. No way, Negan can't say that. Negan can't say that
Yeah.
because it was taking a backward step from where he'd sort of
Right.
found
He'd come. Yeah.
and he had some acceptance. Saying that just took him all right. So he definitely regretted it. But Teresa, you're right. I think that maybe he was also admitting that what he did was so very wrong, and I guess he wanted Maggie to hear it, I suppose. But yeah, it was the initial shock. But yeah, I don't think Maggie was. She's not listening to anything at the moment. So to do with Negan, her mind's just.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Negan can try all he likes, but at the moment, I think Maggie's just she's on her own little path. She's on her own little vendetta, and it's going to be fun to watch, I guess. But we'll see what happens.
Well, I think there's going to be during the day they're going to be at each other's throats.
Yes.
But at night it's going to be a totally different relationship between the two. You know what I mean?
Right.
Fiery by day and by night. So
yeah.
We will look forward to that.
Teresa's been saying this for a while now.
Yeah, I know. It's. I mean, I don't disagree though. I don't think it's far fetched. I think that you see it all the time in shows that can't stand each other. They've got this real thing, and then night it's on. So it's.
Mike Giordano said that's a fact.
It's a fact. Yeah.
And I do believe you got his name correct.
I was going to say, is it a fact name right? So yeah, I think that is totally believable. So, and I will look forward to you being proved right, Teresa, that is actually the case. But when we when we're looking at the Commonwealth, I think the Commonwealth part of the episode was almost like a bit of light relief away from the whole Maggie and
loved it. It was so fun.
And just Princess, I just love her. She just cracks me. Is so she's just so honest. She just comes out with what she thinks straight away, and she is just crazy. And then when they're listening to all of the questions, your zip code and how many bowel movements a day, I'm like, oh, I'm sitting, what? Did I hear that? I actually rewound that and went, what? And then they're going, and what do you use to wipe? That cracked me up. And the bit further on when Precious discovers that they have toilet paper. Have you ever seen a more excited person to know that there is toilet paper there? It was just like, oh my gosh. So, but yeah, these Commonwealth, I don't know what you call them, cops, troopers, whatever they're
soldiers.
Soldiers, yes, soldiers. They look like straight out of Star Wars.
That's too easy, Amanda. That's too easy. We wanted to tell them something creative.
What is it that they're calling Mercer? Sherbert?
Oh, yeah, Sherbert.
Yeah.
Yes, because of his colour. I really hope they let us know how they all came to be, where they got them from, because, we have not seen anyone else dressed in anything like that, which I think is probably quite a uniform for, avoiding walker bites and stuff, but just I don't think it's totally practical for much else. But
no, they traveled across country and went out west to Hollywood, to Universal Studios, or wherever they will find costumes, and they found some stormtrooper outfits, and they brought them back to them.
Everybody.
There we go.
That is definitely a theory. What do you think, though, with all these questions? Bizarre, some of them are stupid questions. What do you think they're trying to find out with them, or do you just think they're trying to intimidate our
I think they're trying to intimidate them a little bit, but and also being under the pressure, because in the comics they had no other group. They were the group, the biggest group.
Yep.
Now they have to be aware of the CRM.
CRM, yeah.
And so now I think it's a tactic in and really seeing if somebody is really who they say they are and they're not part of that scam and trying to get in and, you know, and do whatever.
Yeah. So they've sort of been quite insistent about, why, where is your group? Do you have a group? Where are they situated? So, and
Yeah, yeah, they're
that's
worried about a group.
yeah. So that's the thing. I think the others are worried that Eugene's going to give away, that he's going to, just crack under the pressure. But I don't know. Watching him, he seems to be playing quite an interesting game with them. So yeah, it's hard to know. But when Princess was telling the others about, what was happening with two of these Commonwealth guards, the fact that she's able to read the situation and sort of know what is happening just by, I don't know, what she's looking at, just movements, the way they're standing,
I mean,
little bits.
right.
But sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, I was just saying, right.
Yeah, well,
Go
and then announces that, these two, pointing out a couple of them, they sneak off to have sex, and and I just, the look on their faces like, what? How do you know that? And of course, that she's leading up to that. Well, that could be an opportunity for us to escape, because obviously they've got to take their uniforms off, and that could be their way of getting it. So I thought it was a good plan, a really good plan, and had to laugh when they were doing it. But then as they're going past, of course, and they see that Wall of the Lost, and I know, I haven't read the comics, but I know that's a thing from there. And then Princess sees Yumiko's name with her brother is up there, like searching for her, and she, of course, has assumed that her brother died. And I don't think they had been in contact for a while before it all happened. So with the comic story, and I know it's not Yumiko, do you think that Yumiko is now going to be taking Michonne's story from the comics, or do you think they'll change it up for the TV series and not have it exactly the same?
I don't know. Angela Kang did say that they were deviating from the comics.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know so much about if that storyline exactly will. It'd be interesting if they do, because like in the comics, Alexandria got really mad at Michonne. I mean, they were really, really mad at her for siding with them, and because Rick blamed her for getting Dwight killed, and so yeah, they may. I don't know, it'd be interesting to see. I'm not sure if they'll. I'm not sure on that one yet.
Yeah, no, I mean it will be. I mean, I haven't read the comics, so I don't know, but I know that Michonne finds her daughter, one of her daughters there, and I thought, surely they've got this Wall of the Lost. It's got to be a thing that one of the characters finds it. So yeah, it could be Yumiko is the one who ends up. Yeah, so of course once they're there, they can't leave. Then Yumiko's like, I've got to stay. So then we're like, oh, here we go. This is on. They're not going to get away. But then, of course, we go back to the Maggie and Negan showdown. And when I think Gage and Roy have taken off with the ammo supplies, and Negan's blamed, always his fault, isn't it?
Yeah, everything is his fault.
Yes, so he's just an easy scapegoat at the moment. And they're fighting off the subway walkers, and then realising, of course, leading to this climactic end, that they're going to have to go over the train car. And then Daryl, of course, chases dog, and that's a sort of amusing little side part. But at the same time, I think everybody is really worried that something's going to happen to dog. All the stuff is like, we can accept if such and such is going to die of such and such, but please don't kill the dog. Please don't kill the dog.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Like, we're watching this show when so many people die, but I'm going to be a mess if dog dies. It's like, just, so I'm like, please leave dog at home on future missions. Don't bring him.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Leave him with Judith and the kids.
Exactly. They would look after him. He's not the most well-trained dog, because he just keeps on disappearing. So anyway, he goes, and then it's Negan and Maggie is still trying to escape, and they're left there right near the end. And then Negan has gotten up. Maggie's trying to get up. She tries to kick away the walkers, and then she's going, help me, Negan, help me. And Negan's just looking, and then he walks away. So were you shocked that he just left her, seemingly to die? Were you shocked, or were you like, yeah, that seems right?
I wasn't shocked, but I was a little surprised, because I was thinking at first he missed an opportunity.
Yes.
But at this point, I think really Negan has realized it doesn't matter what he does. She's not going to be impressed with it.
Yeah.
Right.
And two, she just threatened to kill him.
Right.
So I probably wouldn't have saved you either, you know?
I
Yeah.
probably would have kicked her in the face. I'm just saying. I'm going to let you two finish this. I will be back soon, okay?
Thanks, man.
Okay.
Yeah. It was, I'm like you, Teresa. I wasn't shocked, but yeah, I did think, because I thought, you know, I've spoken on with you previously, and other people. The discussions have been, you know, Negan's just got to save someone who is close to Maggie as his sort of redemption, and then surely if he saves like little Herschel or whatever, saves them all, like surely she's going to forgive him. And I thought, well, hang on, here is an actual one where he could save her, and boom, he doesn't. Just sort of, you know, see you later. And you know, I guess it's similar to Strand leaving Morgan. We're almost that, you know, the number of walkers that are there. Yes, Maggie's quite resourceful, and maybe she learnt, you know, however Glenn managed to get under that dumpster. You know, maybe she's picked up a few pointers from him.
Yeah.
I still wasn't certain that she was going to be there for part two. Excuse me, but it was like certainly a very exciting ending to it. And then I think, you know, for me, we couldn't get back quick enough to this next episode. You know, had Maggie survived, or she succumbed to the hordes of walkers? Negan was sort of, when he caught up with the rest of the group, and saying that, oh, she was just behind me, and of course he knows that that's not the case, and then everyone's sort of reluctantly moving on, because, you know, well, this is what we've got to do for the group. We can't stay around. So did you, at the very start of this episode, and I guess the end of the last episode, did you at this exact point, think that Maggie was going to make it? Or did you think, no?
Oh, 100%. I knew she was going to make it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen the trailers, you know? I've seen the trailers. I've seen where, you know, like other scenes that she's in that we hadn't seen yet. So, yeah. I knew she was going to make it.
Yeah, and without seeing any of those, I think it was just too predictable of a storyline. And, you know, Negan, I think, I mean, he's had his redemption story, but not according to Maggie. If he had left her, sorry, but he did just leave her, but if she had actually died, I think, well, it would have been, you know, I think Negan would have been banished. I think it would have just been like, no, you know, wipe your hands off, where you're not with us anymore, because I think that would have just been a step too far. So yeah, I didn't think he was going to die, but it was just interesting. I thought, no, she was going to die.
But I can't get over the fact that she expected him to help her.
Yes, after everything that
it was kind of funny in a way. It was a little comical. She's like, Negan, yeah.
Help me. I've seen so many memes since then of the one with the cat hanging there.
Yeah,
but
love it.
Yeah, it was sort of a bit, well, you know, that's a bit much to ask him to help when she's as much as admitted that she would kill him at the earliest, you know, whenever she could. So she would say, there's a part of me that's still back there, but that's the only part that's keeping you alive. So, you know, she had every intention of, you know, letting him die. Same situation, I think she would have left him. So yeah,
100%. Oh yeah, so she would have taken advantage of that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, exactly,
without a doubt.
That would have been like her opportunity. She would have just seen that as, yep, here we go, boom. And I think she definitely
she probably would have kicked his fingers loose.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, so it would have been interesting. So yeah, but we still don't know, I guess, for a little bit if she's made it, but we're definitely thinking she is. Back at the Commonwealth, she's like, Yumiko's there, and of course their ideas to escape, or their plan to escape, is all changed now because of, you know, Princess seeing the sign up there saying Yumiko's brother's looking for her, and she of course, you know, thinks, well, someone's got to be in charge here, we need to find out. So yeah, I think it's with the Wall of the Lost. So if you are wanting to go into the Commonwealth and you've got someone in there who can vouch for you, so someone related, you can get in there quicker. That's the whole thing, isn't it? So from what I understand, All of the Lost, not knowing anything from the comics, and Yumiko, like the lawyer in her, kicks in, I think, because she's like, okay, I've got to speak to someone who is in charge, so that she can tell them that her brother's there, and that she can hopefully, you know, get in there quickly. And of course, Princess is there. Yep, no worries. She said, oh, we want to speak to the manager. which I thought was quite funny. And but fortunately, I think it was better that Yumiko did the talking, because not quite sure how Princess would have gone, but would have been quite funny.
Blueprint. Wait just a second, Christine. Blueprint Entertainment thinks that Negan will get Rick's death in the show, his comic death.
Oh, okay.
But
right.
you can't comment on that because you've not read the comics.
I've not read the comics. No, because
I think anybody that this might be the wrong word, but deserves it, because it's, I mean, it's a big death, even though it was done in a terrible way. He went out terribly. I mean, this kid that, but and then I'm sorry, I got a little distracted there, but I think Negan could be the one to get it. I really do.
So, and like, this is like way towards the end of this season, so this is like near the very end. So Rick's death in the comics.
Blueprint. Well, I don't know if it was Blueprint or if that was Mike Giordano. Mike Giordano thinks that little Herschel is going to be the one that takes Negan out.
Yeah.
A lot of people think so.
Yeah, and thinking, So that, what do you think about that? Like, what do you think? Do you think that's a good
I don't know. I think I see him befriending him and becoming like a father figure.
Yeah, a bit like, because I mean, he's good with kids and like Judith. It is The Walking Dead, and we don't usually get happy endings. So, I'm so intrigued as to what's going to happen with this storyline, but also just how the whole series is going to wrap up, because, after after episode 24, boom, that's it. It's got to end in a way, otherwise there's going to be a hell of a lot of really unhappy fans if they don't wrap.
I'm scared and so excited at the same time, because I'm really looking forward to see how they end it. I want to see a lot of deaths.
No,
I want to see a lot of people die.
Yeah, you don't want it to be like ending. There'll just be a couple of people left, and what the heck was that for? So
or a meteor hits and takes the whole place out.
Yeah, exactly. So but it's interesting. Like, thinking about Herschel taking out Negan, ultimate, revenge for killing his father, and I don't know. Could be. I mean, he could.
I mean, it's possible.
Well, yeah,
it's possible. I mean, it's very plausible.
Yeah, well, he got together, Judith, I mean, she's a very formidable fighter. You got Gracie and RJ, like, I mean, that they certainly take him down, a grown man, couldn't they? So, if there's the opportunity, so we will watch out for that and see.
Mm-hmm.
But when they're at the Commonwealth and Yumiko's going to speak to, somebody, the manager, at this point,
the manager.
I'm thinking
ice. She says ice.
Yeah,
I love her.
I know she's a classic. She cracks me up because she's just, she says what she thinks. She really, and the hell with it. But I really want her to meet Negan.
Oh, God, yes.
That has got to happen. So whatever happens here at the Commonwealth, Negan and Princess have to be in scenes, because otherwise it's just the biggest waste. It would just be hilarious. Yeah. But at this point, when I was looking at it, and Yumiko, I'm thinking, well, maybe Yumiko's getting in. But did you at this point, did you think all of them would get in to the Commonwealth, or would there be the others still have to go through reprocessing?
I really thought that they all did.
Yeah, would all get in.
Yeah, because I may be wrong, but in the comics, I thought they all went through. Like, they were, I just lost everybody. But they were all heading into the Commonwealth when they saw the Wild Lost and Michonne found the picture of her daughter. So they all were going there. So I was expecting them all to get in. Yeah.
I know they were very worried that Eugene was going to just stuff the whole thing up. And of course, Ezekiel had been taken away and they didn't know what was happening there, because of course he's got the cancer. And, they had specific questions about history and everything. So yeah, at that point, I wasn't sure, but I thought, I don't think Yumiko would just go in and without the others. So I was hoping, that it was all going to work out for all four of them going in. And then, of course, we'll see what happens then with the rest of Alexandria or whoever they work it out. Or, is there going to be this showdown with the CRM? Because the CRM are not in the comics. The Commonwealth's in the comics. So we're the only ones in the comics. So it'll be interesting to see. There has to be something. They can't just introduce the CRM in the other two series and then have the Commonwealth and then nothing happening with it. So, we'll see.
Well, the Commonwealth is going to be a lot more evil than what it was in comics.
Okay, yeah, because I'm not totally sure that they are the good guys. But then I
don't think they are. I don't think they're. I think they had this disguise as being the good guys.
Yeah, because I remember the questions that to get into Alexandria, that Deanna had. They were she was vetting people, just trying to see if they were the right fit for there. But these are different questions. These are I'm not convinced. And Mercer just seems, I don't know. He seems like he's on a power trip without really knowing too much about him. But yeah, I did like Ezekiel's little, carry on and everything, which was hilarious.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Yeah, so when back to where the other group are, and of course Daryl's still trying to find Dog, but then as he wanders through, he finds a Ziploc bag with $100 note. He finds a suitcase that's got money in it as well, which is obviously obsolete in the zombie apocalypse. But there's this handwritten message on it from a boy who's writing it to his dad and saying that he and the brother are going to look for him, and then they're going to turn the radio on each day at 10 o'clock like they'd promised, which is a little bit like Rick and Morgan. It was sort of a throwback to the first episode that they were wanting to say and such like that. So this Tom and Jesse, who they're talking about, who one of them's written the note, Tom I think, and their dad, do you think that they are characters that we've heard of before? Do you think somewhere along the way it's going to tie in with someone we've seen before?
I can't say that it's something I think that we've already heard of. I don't think we've heard of them unless it's been in a nonchalant way or whatever. No one's not said and talked about Tom and Jesse.
Yeah.
I think someone has talked about their family maybe.
Yeah. So
this could end up being their family.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I tell you, the person that I thought of when I saw the picture, I automatically thought of Noah.
Noah, yes.
Yes. They the pictures, the little boy in the picture looks so much like those little twin brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, Noah's twin brothers.
Yeah.
So I think it could end up being some of his family maybe or something.
Yeah. So this is, I'm thinking, surely that we're going to catch up with these at some stage. We've got to have some sort of, ending to this, whether it's a happy one.
I mean, why else did Daryl keep it?
Yeah, exactly. So there's got to be something. And in those tunnels and all the drawings on the pictures that are on the wall. So what group do you think lived in the tunnels there in the early days of or months after the outbreak? If you look at all the pictures on the wall, was this a group, friendly group, or a not friendly group?
I think, are you talking about the ones down in the tunnels, right? Those that was in the bags.
There's pictures on there showing crowns and
I think that's a foreshadowing of how evil the Commonwealth's going to be. Can't see that.
Yeah. So you think that that's actually the Commonwealth? So
I think it's a little. Yeah, it's talking about. Well, I mean, at the end of the episode, Angela Kang talks about that.
Yeah.
And I can't remember exactly how she put it, but she said they wanted to tell a story without having to do the story. Yeah. So they put it on the wall, in the memorial, that it's showing how evil the Commonwealth is going to be. The different classes of people, how, in the subways, homeless and the upper class met and clashed, things like that.
Yeah, yeah, and and then it probably, well, it doesn't really matter what you were like before the zombie apocalypse. Like everyone probably can still end up the same way afterwards, like homeless, desolate, whatever. With I mean, it's a new world, new rules, and there's not really anybody who can. But well, you can draw on what you had before pre-apocalypse, but yeah, all the rules have changed. Everything's different, and yeah, I think it was quite a clever way of putting it up there. Like we sort of, without anyone having to say, oh well, these people were here, and this is what they did, and this is what they did. We can look at it and go, oh yeah, it's sort of a simple depiction of a horrible time. So
Right.
when they are in the tunnels and they're trying to make their way through, and then they hear some banging, and then of course we've got the Morse code SOS of Maggie, and
Yeah.
priceless. And then of course she confronts Negan, but he brushes her off. He's like, yeah, this is how, he says to her, well, you were going to kill me. And so he still doesn't think that he's really done anything wrong. But do you think that at that time he's unremorseful for leaving, or is he merely just putting on like sort of a poker face to hide how he's feeling? Is she's still considering killing him? Is that what he's worried about?
Like, I think he wanted to save her, and I think it might be tugging at him because he didn't do it.
Yes.
But no, I don't think he's remorseful that he didn't try. But
yeah, I think that I think sometimes it's hard to read Negan and what he's actually really thinking, and like he'll just come off with
he seemed very freaked out in that train car.
Yes, absolutely. So I think there's a lot more of this Negan Maggie thing to play out, and and it's hard. I mean, it's quite entertaining. Negan's got the best sort of well, poker face, and just to come out with something, and it's just totally hilarious and inappropriate, but that's Negan. And it's sort of like, I mean, he was jailed all that time and away from them, but at the same time, I think I'm pleased that he's sort of come back into it, and he's not just like, oh well, I'll just be meat mild Negan, I'll just do whatever they want me to do, and not say he's just pissing everybody off, and with coming up. So he's not going to go quietly. He is going to just be, totally, this is how I'm doing it, and yeah, I'll help you, but it's on my own terms. And I don't think that I don't think for him it's ever going to change. It's always going to be,
no, it's not going to change.
No, and I think the others have kind of become used to that, but Maggie is still really pissing her off, and I don't. It's just going to be interesting and funny. The next part, when we've got Gage suddenly reappear and he is trapped. Now Negan is there trying to get the door open along with Alden, but Maggie refuses, and she's saying it'll put them all in danger. Gabriel, he agrees to, calling, saying that we're not going to be helping him at all. And thinking of right then and there, was Maggie just a blatant hypocrite for leaving Gage to die? And was Negan also a bit hypocritical for being concerned for Gage when he hadn't been at all concerned for Maggie? So
I think I don't know with that. I've thought about that. I'm thinking that maybe that's just his instinct, is to try to save people.
Yeah, and Gage was young,
even though his past is not that. No. But I think him trying to change, and he's trying to get everybody to accept him. Yeah. So he's wanting to be helpful.
Yes. So yeah.
But now I think Gabriel, yes, definitely,
exactly,
100%.
Yeah, so he was like, oh no, we can't save him. We just have to leave him, and then of course he does die. He's saying, well, he's just another one who's died, a coward. And you think back to when they first met Gabe, and you think what he did.
Yeah.
early days of the apocalypse where he locked his, parishioners out and allowed all of them to die. And you think, well, he's come a long way since then. But yeah, I
Yes.
thought a little hypocritical coming from him as well, just saying, considering
Very hypocritical.
considering his past. Now then Maggie sort of, I don't know, tries to turn the attention of the room, or not the room, but the subway, when she talks about some stuff the horrors that she saw when she was out there. And it's an awful story. But what do you reckon was her actual reason for telling the story? Was she looking for sympathy, or is she really just saying?
Well, to me, I think she was looking for sympathy because the story had nothing in the world to do with what was going on.
No,
I don't think. I felt like it did. And
yeah.
I mean, here we're talking about you just letting somebody die because you wouldn't open the door for them. You're talking about somebody actually putting you in danger and you having to take care of yourself. So I thought the two situations were totally different.
Yes.
Exactly. I might be wrong in maybe I didn't hear her correctly, but yeah, sympathy.
Yeah, I think so too, because I think she was just like, obviously she could see that what she had done looked bad. And at that point, she needed people to be on her side because she needed the group together to help her. And so, yeah, I thought, she was just changing the subject almost. It's like, this is what happened, and this is what happened to me and to my son. And I think, she definitely played the sympathy card there. But when we get back, when they flick back again, because they did a lot of backwards and forwards from the Negan, the tent situation there, and then we've got back to the Commonwealth show with Princess, etc. But when Mercer is there questioning a trembling Eugene, who you think is just either going to wet himself or he's going to, let all of their secrets out and tell the Commonwealth exactly where they are and how many are in their group or something like that. It's hard to trust him, but at the same time, he plays a really good role, and he is sometimes just playing that sort of, oh my God, just to, I don't know. It was like when he was with Negan, but then he was working with Alexandria. He's a good actor, and he does lie quite well. So I think his whole premise for being with Rick's group was a whole lie built on the fact he was going to DC to find the cure or something. So he's very good at lying, and sometimes I think he doesn't even know it's something, what is a lie and what's the truth anymore. But
right.
When you've seen Mercer, and like we've seen a little bit of him, and I love the exchanges with Ezekiel, what are your first impressions, or what are your impressions of him? Like, is it a big power trip for him? He's sort of like,
I think a power trip, definitely. He's a very imposing person. I mean, like,
yes,
very intimidating. Which he was, in the comics too. He was a little intimidating. But yeah, he's and very capable of getting. I think he's very capable of getting what he wants.
Yeah. So I'm still trying to work out the Commonwealth. I can't quite figure, what their purpose is and what they plan to do if they admit our group in, which they do. What will happen from there? And I just can't see. I'm thinking, well, if there are people there like Yumiko's brother, he's a surgeon. There's got to be some good there, but is there a whole lot more bad that outweighs that good? So, but when they're sort of, they're back in that train car or something rather, whatever they keep getting put in, and then Eugene is then finally reunited with Ezekiel and Princess and Yumiko, and being told that they're being expedited to the Commonwealth, they're going to all be able to get in, and then in walks Stephanie. I've heard and read so much stuff about this since this episode. Do you think this really is Stephanie, or is it just another trick or a test by the Commonwealth? Do you think we've seen her, like, and Eugene's just like, going to get all his dreams are going to come true, fantasies, everything?
Well, I listened to something that Brian had done a video on, and it made a whole lot of sense.
Yep.
But then when she walked in, first of all, one actor was hired.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they were here. You say somebody else
Oh,
that's on set, but Margot Bingham is still listed as a cast member, and they won't confirm, whatever. So I think that kind of was what got it started and everything. Well,
Yeah,
the other night in the episode when she came into the train car,
yep,
and she spoke, I thought that sounds like Radio Stephanie, the one on the radio. Well,
yeah,
I went back and looked or listened.
yeah,
Doesn't sound like the same. So I think she's the fake Stephanie. She's a fake Stephanie. Remember when Mercer told Eugene, you better tell me the truth because I'll know.
yes, yes,
I think that's how he'll know. They put her in there. She's gonna play Stephanie,
yep.
and they think that he will spill his guts. He may spill his guts to her, and
Yeah, well, that's what I'm
I mean,
thinking.
they're
Yeah,
gonna have to learn. They're gonna have to learn about Alexandria somehow, right?
yeah, oh, yeah, it's going to come out for sure.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
yeah. No, I don't think she's the. We all may be proved wrong,
yeah, true.
but a lot of people out there believe this is not the right Stephanie.
I mean, I'm inclined to be like that. Think that she's a plant. She's someone who's just going to be in there, gain their trust. Well, she's already got Eugene's trust.
But the
And
thing about, I think, wouldn't Eugene, as smart as he is, wouldn't he already have recognized the difference in the boys?
yes, yeah. So
So
if it is,
maybe he's playing alone. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. 'Cause, I mean, yeah. I mean, Eugene is definitely smart, and yeah, I would think that. To me, I thought, yeah, that does sound like her. But people sound different on radio and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
someone in there who's like a spy, basically for them. I can see them totally doing that, and yeah, it'll just be interesting to see what happens like next week. And
Right.
but right at the end of this episode, Maggie's group, they're coming out of the tunnels. They're planning a detour to somewhere where I think she said, what was his name? Georgie had left some supplies that they could just sort of go there, rest up. But as they're heading up there with, the group, they're attacked in the darkness by this unseen enemy who we all assume would be the Reapers. And I know because that one, before he detonated the grenade near all of them, he said something to Maggie that was personally to her. So I don't know. We can all surmise what has happened in the past, but what do you think might have happened between Maggie and the Reapers? Is it simply a case of they forced them out of their settlement, killed most of their members just because they're evil, or has something else happened? Like that to me
I
is
think
like,
I think it might be a little bit bigger than that, even too. That I've read a few things where a lot of people think that they're part of the CRM,
yeah,
and that they think that the CRM have them out there working, looking for these other groups or communities that are setting up, rebuilding, because they don't want them to rebuild, because they don't want nobody to get big to
yeah,
possibly take them out. So that, they hired the Reapers to protect them because they have all these great resources. And so Maggie has been marked because she's a capable, formidable leader. She could
yeah,
possibly build something. I think that might be. I know I said something initially last night different, but I read something today and it makes a whole lot of sense.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's more to the story. It's not just a simple case of, these are the bad guys, take them out. And the thing with the CRM, yeah, very credible. We know that they send out people, and we know that they're trying to get rid of communities. I mean, the campus colony, they destroyed that
Mm-hmm.
because they were a threat. So they would think nothing of doing that to this Meridian and getting rid of all those people. So there's got to be more to it. Something between Maggie and this group that's going to play
Or,
out.
Maggie could have been, she's been gone a long time. What if she
Yes.
was a part of them at one time?
Yeah,
And
maybe.
she left. She knows something, so they're after her for assassination or something.
Yeah, yeah. So it could be, because I know I've also read people think that maybe Leah, Daryl's Leah, is connected to them as well.
Oh yeah.
it could definitely back. I think we know that. She talked about the group that she was with, and she was really quite shady about it, not sort of giving away too much. So to me, it thinks that there's got to be some sort of connection there with the Reapers.
100%. Yeah, she's going to be a Reaper. Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So yeah, it was very interesting. I'm very much looking forward to the next episode 3.
Oh, me too.
So exciting. So anything else with this one before we wrap up that you think we need to discuss?
No, I think that I think we got it. Maybe.
It's every episode gets more exciting, but it gets us closer to the end, which is bittersweet. But yeah, looking forward to it, and yeah, looking forward to what we'll be discussing next week. So that pretty much wraps us up for this week. Thank you, and hoping that we'll get a few more people commenting and having listened to it later on, and really getting involved, because it's a lot of fun to bring it to you. Thank you very much.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.